Born to Build podcast.
Welcome to Born to Build, conversations with the builders, founders, and pioneers driving change from the ground up, giving you the tools to build and grow your business. My name's Sam, and today I'm joined by Phillip Mcelu. Phillip is the founder and managing director of MCE Solutions, a South African technology company helping businesses streamline and scale through smart IT infrastructure and cloud solutions. Phillip, so great to have you today and great to be chatting with you.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam, and thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your background before MCE Solutions. Where did you grow up? What first gave you the spark for technology and business?
Cape Town boy. Born and bred in Cape Town, in Khayelitsha, to be specific. Just enjoyed everything of Cape Town from my schooling days, all in that side. From the early age, just wanting to play computer games. So we've been putting together computers, taking apart hard drives. So that has been the spark that kind of led it all into computers. But funny enough, when I got to universities, I didn't even think computers. I thought maths and physics. I want to be a mathematician or be a physicist. Started with that journey with UCT. I'm like, it's just, it just was not that fun when I actually started doing the physics part of it. The maths part, I'm like, this is dragging and boring. I'm like, okay, let me do economics. I enjoyed that mathematics and interpreting the world with more economics, but I end up more falling in love with it back to my original passion with the information systems as one of the courses that we were taking there. So that kind of led me back again to that original passion of playing around with computers. So that's how the spark. Even with my first job on how I got into computers, I was not actually employed to do anything with computers. It was mostly purely to do some stats analysis, analyze stuff. But in the organization, there was like a lot of computers that were dying. So I started like fiddling with that, sorting out the network. So it just weirdly started to come back in this passion of like computers. So I'm like, when passion just, I guess that thing when people always talk about passion. So I end up doing more of that computers than a career. It was mostly born out of that, just computers, more than anything. So that's me. But now I'm based in Joburg. Moved into Joburg before. I always use COVID as the reference, just before COVID, the 2020.
DC.
So I'm in based this side now. I'm enjoying Johannesburg. It's sort of the melting pot of Africa actually as a whole. There's so much diversity and culture that's happening. So I'm based this side now. That's where the head offices of MCE are at.
Brilliant. And from the entrepreneurial side, where did that come from? Did you have some role models in your life that you looked up to, or where did that drive come from?
So even from that side, it was not really intentional about entrepreneur. It was mostly trying to assist. I think I had this ex-colleague of mine, knowing that I'm technical, and it was on CRM, actually Salesforce CRM, that I actually end up finding a lot of passion in designing CRMs and making them to be to really speak to the functionality of the business. So one of my ex-colleagues called me now that he's in a new organization. He's like, hey, can you help us actually to also build our CRM? And then, willing to pay you. And then I started doing that, just helping them. And then the next one will pop up and be like, hey, help us also. We want to do, also want to tool up our CRM. And then, yeah, that's how it actually started more than anything. Before
Right.
we brought the IT side even to the business, but it was purely just, I'm consulting now. I started wanting to make extra bucks more than anything. It was not even about starting a business. But
Okay.
then there came a time where, uh, as a consultant, it becomes difficult without having that business behind you. So
Hmm.
I thought, oh, you know what? I can build a quick website on WordPress. I built it a quick website, registered the company. Remember sitting at the Port Elizabeth airport. I built it a website sitting at the Port Elizabeth airport. And I just put it together, website, registered a business, and
Wow.
then that was MCE been born. And then it was still mostly just that CRM part of it. And
Yeah.
then once now we're getting, you get in there and people are using a horrible mailing system, and that won't even interact with the CRM that I've just built it, then I just end up
Mm.
helping them migrating now to another. And then you find when you're doing that, their computers are not suitable for the new mailing system. You end up also doing their computers. So that's how actually MZ ended up coming along and being the business more than anything. But it was not the intentionality of like, I'm starting a business. It was all purely making extra bucks, as number one. And number two, just rating to the need of the people that I was interacting with. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I was about to say that's really the need that drove the next step, right? And
Yeah.
you knew then that you're solving a problem because it was literally you're just solving someone's problem, and that led to the next step. That sounds brilliant. Um,
Mhm.
so tell me a little bit about those early days. What were your
Yeah.
biggest hurdles that you faced? Yeah, initially, was it building the team or acquiring new clients? Yeah, what managing cash flow maybe? What are the
Mhm.
things that the early hurdles?
Yeah, I think the most one is actually not the clients because, as I was saying, that they kept on. We still pretty much even running like that even now after 7 years. We're still so much in referrals. Our client keep on referring us to the
Right, so
next
just word of
person.
mouth.
Exactly, exactly. So, but the core challenge it was now being this one person, of trying to wear these multiple hats. That
Mm,
was the most difficult one.
yeah,
And trying to bring in now who are the right people that can come in. That was the most challenging part more than anything. And I think I started bringing in an administrator just to help with the invoicing part, just to help,
right.
because I could handle all the technical aspects of everything, than just someone to just handle invoicing, communication.
Mm.
So
So
that
did they come
helped.
on board
That
like full time straight away, or did they
full
start
time.
part time first? Wow. So you
They
had
started
enough work
full
done
time.
straight away.
Exactly, exactly. And I think I think I was lucky enough that we had enough, I think, commitments also from these clients that are now saying that we'll pay you on a monthly basis. Just support
Mm,
us. I even didn't want it to be like that originally. I just wanted it to be a project. I'm done. Bye. I got my money. But then after you've done that migration, it's keep on coming back, and that willingness also from the client side to be like, yeah. So the first one is bringing these administrators to help me with billing, to help me with also these emails and writing the proposal. Sort of this part that I just hated at the beginning, just having to write a proposal, and putting together what could be the solution. So that person was so helpful. So that's the first person that I brought in. But then
mm,
the next piece now it was okay. Also now the technical load was getting too much, especially the small
right.
stuff, resetting a password for a person or going on site to install a computer, whatever. Though those technical bits, they just became too much. And then the next one, it was now to bring in a junior technician that can just handle some of these things that you needed to do. So also
Mhm.
that person just brought him in them in full time to because there
Brilliant.
was enough room to there was enough work to make sure that we can still outsource, but there's still enough for us to still run. So those are the two most important, and those are the two most difficult pieces because we
Mm.
kept on. I think we changed. I had my friend with me helping me with the interview process because we kept on trying to think of an intern, but we will interview them like, yeah, these people won't be able to even do the basics. Then we keep on changing the spec, we're changing the amount that we're willing to pay
Right.
there on a monthly basis. So that was the most difficult one. I think we spent like 4 rounds just trying to get the technician, just purely just struggling, battling with that. But after we learned it off as technician, it makes such a huge difference more than
Mm.
anything because now even the ramping up in terms of revenue just started shooting up because
Wow.
now it was this extra person that was able to handle sort of the day to day, and I'm handling some of the projects side of it. So that helped a lot, but that was the most painful piece in there. And then as the money is coming in, you have to manage the money now because now all of a sudden you are paying salaries. The salaries
Yeah.
part is not the most important, but you are liable to SARS. You are
Yeah.
liable to be paying taxes more than anything. And that was, I think we had an opportunity with one client that said that I need your tax compliance before you can work with us. So you needed to
Mm.
produce a tax clearance certificates and produce that your company profile. I'm like, okay, I don't know how to to sort this side out. And that's and I remember just googling the closest accountant. That's how I found actually my accountant that I still work with today. I just googled accountant. And then I
Amazing.
got like couple from Google, people that are recommended close by. And then I just started sending them emails, all of those people, can we please connect? I have a texting it that I need to sort out. And then, yeah, one of the guys, Ronald came back to me and we had a conversation. He just got exactly what was my issue. I guess it's a common practice that I know now, but he exactly got it. Sorted out our tax clearance. We're able to now actually pay SARS. So that's another important compliance because
Mm.
if you're making money and not paying your taxes, you're actually doing something illegal. And
Yeah.
a small business, sometimes we tend to ignore that side
Mm.
until either we'll catch up with you if you have ignored it for a long time, or once you start making serious money now, it actually becomes a liability problem, and you have already child all that money.
Mm.
So I was happy enough that we got someone at the earlier stage
That's great.
to
Yeah.
just get us to make sure that we set it up correctly in terms of
Mm.
SATs. Yeah. Especially paying
Yeah.
people and not paying pay as you earn on
Mm.
SATs. Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah. And worth paying someone for that expertise, right? And like you're doing it
Yeah.
correctly. And yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
100%.
So
Yeah.
yeah, talking about the systems, and we're gonna do a bit of a deep dive into this. You at some stage decided, so you obviously you grew, the team grew, but at some stage you decided to adopt the entrepreneurial operating system, EOS, in your business. Um, those maybe not familiar with it, it's by a guy named Gino Wickman. His book Traction talks about EOS. Highly recommend that book if you haven't read it yet. But yeah, what first of all triggered that decision? What were you looking to fix or improve? Really, adopting EOS.
Yeah, I think yeah, the background, I guess, before even to the pain points that we have on our side.
Hmm.
I kept on one of our clients in Cape Town. Uh, he was also embarking on a journey, also from his organization side, when it comes to organizing the organization. So as
Hmm.
much as we'll talk the business side of it, how we're supporting them, but our conversations will just dive on leadership, um, and dive on actual talking about our businesses, just go above now, just supporting them.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the greatest gifts that he actually gave me. It was he just like, check out this book. I'm doing this EOS thing, and I just remember reading it on my fly on my when I was flying back from Cape Town. I'm like, do you know when those books capture you as you're studying the first pages? They have
Yeah.
this assessment in there, just asking you these questions. You're like, how do they know my business specifically? It's like it's I think that's what I find it fascinating more uh, about it. It was just like, oh my goodness, this is the thing I'm struggling with. This is the thing I'm struggling.
Yeah.
And the more I dive into it, the more I was feeling like, oh, I thought I was special. I thought it was such all these issues that I was having. They're so unique
Yeah.
to me, and I think that's the one of the fallacies that I wish that every person that is aspiring read so much as possible. Uh,
Mm.
that will help you so much because there's so much knowledge that's out there already. It's
Mm.
just a matter of you consuming it, and you can be able to even avoid uh, uh, um, some of these potholes. So that for me, that was what was mind blowing with it when we first started with it. It was just I
Mm.
felt that this is just someone that is just addressing some of the pain points that I just have
Yeah.
in
Brilliant.
my business. And on
Yeah.
top of that, I think what was more appealing about it, it was I've read books, but then they always abstract. They always tell you that fix your business or do systems, do this thing. But I'm like, how? That how
Mm.
part, I think how my brain is also structured. That was also the difficult part. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I knew that you can say that I have this problem, but the fixing it is like it doesn't really resonate
Mm.
with me more than anything. So that helped a lot to kind of speak to connect with it more than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I started with the journey on the
Yeah.
EO
So
stuff.
maybe for those who obviously not familiar with EOS, so it basically consists of six components: vision, people, data, issues, process, and then I think they call traction. So just a little bit of background, and it dives deep into each of those topics and helps you think through your business processes and helps you structure your business in a way that helps you help you think through those processes. Um, but walk us through how you first of all introduced EOS into MCE Solutions. How did you bring the team along? You know, what did your first like 90 days look like? Early wins.
Yeah, I think yeah. After Victor introduced me to it, I think it was mostly just studying it for myself
Hmm.
before even getting to introducing it with the team. Just really little studying the book and see how will that actually look like. Because also for people, I think for the greater team, if you haven't thought some of the parts through already, it also becomes overwhelming for them to just dive into everything rather than breaking it into small bits. But what helped a lot, um, I brought in a friend of mine that mostly deals with strategies that helps an organization to formulate strategies, but
Hmm.
also this EOS was a new concept also to him. He has an idea how he does strategy. He will do a SWOT analysis, break down, and do the traditional strategy. But then
Mm-hmm.
I told him that I want to do strategy with you because I know you can facilitate quite well. But
Mm-hmm.
then I need us to work with this as much as we can do the strategy. But I need us to be so it also he also took a bit of time from his
Okay.
side to study the material from his end. So it was
Mm-hmm.
now the amazing facilitation that Olani will bring in at the same time now with the EOS model and there. So those came in quite beautifully
Mm-hmm.
in there. And then what he then did is started facilitating this process. So we brought in my entire team now. So by that time, we have grown up to 8 people in the
Mm-hmm.
team. So we brought in the guy in Cape Town. We brought in all the entire team that is in Johannesburg. We let us sitting in this one place for 2 days. And the mission was for us to fill in this. So they have this VTO
Mm-hmm. Vision
framework
traction,
uh,
vision traction organizer, right?
organizer.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Our mission it was to make sure by the time of these 2 days are done, we are filling this whole entire vision and traction organizer. So Olani helped us to really facilitate that whole entire process, and we spend a lot of time together. Also, just kind of putting some of the pieces together. And the biggest win, more than anything, is just to say this is where we're heading. This is our true
Mm.
north, more
So
than anything.
important.
And I think before there was no true north, we kind of go, oh, we're doing it. It's always been that directionary mode. But
Mm.
now with the clear true north to kind of say, this is where we're going. This is the crazy, audacious goal that we are putting for ourselves and for the next 10 years. Uh, 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 um, and getting everyone to collaborate onto it. I think that was the amazing bit in there to just work on our values. I'm sure you would know that VTO, just to know what do we actually stand for more than
Mm.
anything as an entity. And I think as also the core values of basing them also on Christian values, how do we make sure that some of those are also incorporated to defining what is the
Mm.
company actually and setting up that 10-year crazy target that still scares me today. As every year is passing, it, it gets scary and scary to be like, okay, are we going to reach it? And then
Did
once
you
I
mind
find
sharing
it,
what that is?
sure. Yeah, so we put it that in the ICT space, I think number one, we said that we wanted to be an enterprise level ICT company.
Mm-hmm.
So that to enable us to be able to work with any level of business because now we are so confined into the small and medium, but we want to be able that any enterprise that will want to bring in an IT company, we can be able to go in there. And that enterprise word for us brought in a lot of things. When you say that you want to be enterprise, you basically are saying that the level of revenue that you're going to be hitting, it needs to be at a certain target. The certain expertise your team needs to have, it needs to
Yeah.
be at a certain target.
Yeah.
The type of expertise, they can't be now, as we started all over the show. We need to know exactly these are the areas that we're going to be spending that we want to have expertise on, get the team certified on, we getting the right partnerships on. So then it sort of made it, and then we put it a number there. We say, okay, if the number we wanted to put like 50 million rands, when I by that time when I be able to hit that 50 million rands,
Mm.
so that it sort of put at this thing to be like, okay, now in 10 years, this is where we want to be. This is
Mm.
so then it's easy now. Once you kind of have that, we're sort of working backwards from there, sort of like saying
Right.
that, okay, we have stated these are what we want to offer to the market. And then from there, it's like, if now we're saying that in 10 years, how can the next 3-year picture look like?
Mm,
And then we're saying, okay, now if we say that we want to be there in 10 years, we then need to say, okay, for us to reach that, we then need in the next 3 years to be able to hit in between 15 and 20 million
mm,
in terms of our revenue for us to be able to make that true goal in there. So that
yeah.
help us to really work backward and then say, okay, how many certifications, for example, would everyone would need by the next 3 years? How many partnerships would need in the next 3 years?
Brilliant.
What type of clientele would need to have in the next 3 years? And then it will go to when we're looking now at our marketing strategy in there. So if we want to reach that, we need to then start to speak to the relevant people that will be what can be we think about our marketing strategy as an entity, and then also
Mhm.
having the targeted client in there. That helps us a lot to kind of to have a profile of who is this client, what is this
Right.
entity that we would like to work with, so that we're able then to draw and say, okay, it's not like we'll say in a business that doesn't meet those trade, we'll say no to, but then we're also putting our ideal client in there. So then we're able to define you need to be able to be above 10 million in terms of your revenue annually. Because we find that by the time you're hitting 10 million, also internally, you need systems. You can't run an entity without systems once you're above 10 million. But then someone who's still running a small mom and pop shop, they can run fine on Excel. And that is not the person that we ideally want to target. It's not that we can help them, but then we find
Right.
those people leveraging the kind of CRM that we are bringing in, leveraging the enterprise softwares that we are bringing in, then it becomes a bit tricky for them to appreciate or see the value that gets brought in by those. So that I'm saying that was the biggest thing for us to just clearly define who we are
Mm.
and also where we're heading. That was the biggest win. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, and it helps you. I think I love how you got your North Star, you got your goal. I love how you said like how you can then work your way backwards to what are the things that we need to put in place now to get to that. Like, and in the next 3 years, what do we do now to get there? It's so helpful to have that in place.
Mm.
So with EOS in place now, how do you track performance and growth at MCE? What metrics do you watch closely? How do you ensure you're not just doing a lot, but doing the right things
Mm.
so that you can get to that, those goals?
Uh, One of the nice thing that actually came from the EOS, from the book itself, it's the
Mm,
scorecard
mhm.
that I find to be quite useful. Um, and it's basically there's so many numbers, there's so many things uh, that you can want to track. But I think what the book also emphasizes, what are the key things that you actually do need to track, the things that actually do matter more than trying to track everything. And from our end, it was we wanted to have, I think, a simple, straightforward scorecard to make sure can we track our HR pieces? Are we having the check-ins with everyone, with the team? And then secondly, on the sales side of things, on a weekly basis, what are some of the key milestones that we need to be hitting there to make sure? Then we just formulated a simple, when we started, a simple spreadsheet that later say HR, sales, operations, and finance in there. And what we wanted to track, as I said in the sales, the leads, how many leads have we got in there? that are sitting on our CRM. How many
Mm,
sales have we closed? How many proposals have we sent out? Are in them. And then going to the operations, it's how many, where are we at with the projects that we're currently doing? Have we closed our tickets? Because clients are constantly submitting queries and tickets in there. Where are we at in sorting out those queries? And
mm,
then on the finance side is to keep track. We know that for a month, for us to run in a month, we need X amount to run. So we're tracking that our banks having that X amount at all times. There will obviously be dips, but then we need to make sure that we're maintaining that one running bank to be meeting that cash threshold. And that was one of the next important thing in there. And then also payables, the people that owe us, we need to always be keeping them under this threshold. And because the
mm.
mere day about that, that means the bank is also affected on the other side. So that was quite important that this is our simple scorecard that we want to be monitoring on a weekly basis to just check and say, okay, all these metrics that you're looking at, are they on par on a weekly basis? So then it's easy for us to react one way or the other rather than waiting either a whole month to react to them or having to wait until a quarter has ended and find that we actually are not meeting. A
Mm,
key one is that we're already seeing the trends throughout the year that, for example, the revenue target that we have, unless some miracle has happened, we're not going to be able to hit. We need to adjust it accordingly
yeah.
because it's already showing us the monthly trends that are happening in there. So we can already pick it up and say, okay, no, we're not going to be surprised at the end of the year. We already know, okay, we're going to probably be hitting this. And then this is a safest bet. So that was most important, a scorecard to kind of
Yeah.
keep track of it. Yeah,
Yeah, you created this dashboard that I've seen as well, where you can,
exactly.
as you mentioned, on a weekly basis, you checking in, or at any point in time, really, you can check in and
Exactly.
see all of those metrics. So it's, yeah, so important to make the proper data driven decisions as well, right? And
Exactly.
yeah, making and forecasting, as you said. But what are some of these? So you mentioned the weekly check-in, but also obviously EOS talks about rocks and regular
Absolutely.
cadence, and yeah, what are the ceremonies and things like that that EOS
Mm.
defines?
Yeah, that's one of the. So the part I was talking about, it was mostly the vision part on top. So when
Mm,
you get to the second page, it sort of speaks more into the traction side
mm,
of it, and that traction side of it, it looks at the year. What does the year look like?
mm,
What is the target for the year? Number one, what are all the key goals that you have set it up for yourself to make that target that you put it up on top? And then the second piece, it goes into those rocks. And what are the things that you almost need to be working on in each and every quarter that you need to meet on the side. So one of the examples that we had on our side on the rocks, it was we wanted to set up a unified a system for project management and ticket management because we're
mm,
basically now having this one thing that is sitting this side, and then you have another tool that we need to monitor this side. So within one person, they need to be already be checking two systems. In there, that was already a bit of a pain in sort of how we're managing both the projects and also managing the tickets that are coming in
mm,
on those days. So we said that rock that number one on Q1 of 2025, we need to already have a system that our clients are logging tickets on and making sure that we are managing our projects on. So we
mm,
went through a number of these applications. So we're using the time in between that to actually study a number of application. There's got a number of them that are out there in the market that we just wanted to just have meetings with all of these different providers and just really dive into them, listen to how and look at the cost. And the one that we end up settling on, it was Jira on our side because it really met what we wanted. It was easy to sort of like build projects. It was easy to also get the ticketing side of it just working and building
Mm.
also the front interface for our clients to just log tickets. So those rocks, they help a lot because there's something that we need to make sure that we are accomplishing in there. So then it was easy. We wanted project accounting, for example,
Mm.
to make sure we can track profitability for every project that we're doing. So that becomes a rock
Yeah.
in there for us. And then when you get to the
And that,
issues
sorry,
are
just
sort of then
before you move on to the issues, so the rock is essentially the one big thing that you got to do in that quarter, right? The next 90 days,
exactly.
the one big thing. Now, as far as I remember, I don't know if I'm mixing it up with this illustration, but I think it's what he uses in the book as well, but it might be from somewhere else. But it's essentially about, you got a jar, and you got different sizes rocks, and you got smaller pebbles, and you got all kinds of these are all the things that you need to get done. How are you going to get it all in to fit in this jar? You got to start with the big rock, because if you start with all the little petals, how are you going to get that big rock in there? I think that's where it comes from. But I might be confusing the illustration with something else. But essentially, it is like one big thing that needs to happen in the
Yeah,
90 days that's going to move the needle the most. Yeah.
100%. Because even with the team being overwhelmed, because there's no system in place, for example, for them how to track. So you always have these issues on this side of people like I'm overworked, I'm over da, 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 da. It becomes I'm feeling overworked, but then there's how are we tracking when you're defined to being overworked?
Mm,
In there as one of the issues. But then once you solve this core rock, it becomes and we can easily see that, oh wow, this person has been you can easily see from there that oh this tech is has a huge load on their hands because we solved the rock. Then it's
mm,
easy to kind of say, okay, no, from our operations to say that this load shouldn't be sitting on this one person because we're gonna get this guy bent out. So that's why then that crucial part of solving the rock, you end up solving a lot of your issues
right.
in there once you kind of solve some of these rocks. So and then I think with the quarterly thing, it just makes it also uh, a good kind of setting that smart goal kind of a thing that you know that by this quarter we actually need to get this done. This
Hmm.
thing is not going to be dragged non-stop because we also have that thing. If you look at that quadrant, when it's important but not agent, it sort of sits in there. But the sec that is not agent, but it is important. So then we tend to end up ignoring those things that are important but not agent. We always focusing on the
Right.
agent, and all the time we're living in that agent all
Yeah.
the time. But not be important, but it always leaves on that agency
Yeah.
more than anything. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good.
So that's what the rock sort of like putting timelines like in this quarter, this we need to solve it.
Mm. And do you
That
do
that
that as
helps
a
a lot.
as a business as a whole, and every individual also has their own rock, or how do you guys implement that?
So how we have done rocks, it's important for us to assign them to a specific person. So it could be a company rock, but then there will be then a dedicated a person that gets assigned to. So then if it's setting up uh the same example, let's say setting up this system, so there will be someone that is dedicated within the team
Mhm.
to so then I think on the individual end, then you can take those as be your rocks. But then we are just listing all of them and putting that this is the person that is accountable for this rock
Mhm.
to for the overall company. Because then I think also the importance why we put them on the one sheet that everyone can see is that it also becomes a team thing rather than an
Mm.
individual thing. So then everyone is clear. These are the rocks that we need to meet. So then it's easy to hold each other accountable. Also when we're
Yeah.
looking at those roles.
Yeah. Just looking back, like maybe can you identify like a pivotal, moment, maybe a meeting or a quarterly, offsite or something, or a resolved issue where you're like, wow, I'm so glad we implemented EOS. Maybe just tell us a little story of how that's
Mhm.
been helpful.
Uh, I'm sure you would know IT is so broad. Um, and you can end up being dragged everywhere. But maybe a background of this story, like one of that first technician that I brought in. Uh, um, so I told him that how we operate, we are there to help a client regardless of what they want. As long as it's technology, we will be there.
Mhm.
And we were in one of our clients in there during the load shedding, when load shedding was quite hectic, and their
Right.
generator kept on not working
Right.
as they were trying to turn on power back. And I said, I remember telling him as we were sitting that this is not our problem. We are not here to fix electricity. But he came back to me and said, "No, you said when we're interviewing, we will do everything to help out, help out the client." And
Perfect.
so with the EOS, what helped is basically to say these are our boundaries that we play in. I think that is the most crucial piece to kind of say,
Right.
after all of that, to kind of set clear boundaries that we are not developers. We're an MSP. We're managed service provider. We're not going to be trying to be developed as much as we could have personal interest and dare and play around with development and do, but that's not what we do, because
Mm,
then it helps a lot to kind of easily set boundaries into what we do and what we do not do. Otherwise,
yeah.
we will get lost in this
Mm,
mist of what IT is. So it's
right.
easy now, I think, for the team, even if we're sitting, as much as it could be a great opportunity at times, but
Mm,
then my team now can clearly say that it's not our expertise. We can refer you to someone else, but it's not our.
yeah.
We don't play there. Yeah, so that helped a lot. That's where for me I felt that this is working. Setting
Wow.
yourself who you are more
That's
than
brilliant.
anything. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So helpful. Because, yeah, like you said, it can so easily be very distracting, right? You can get all these distractions that come along, but it really helps you focus. Yeah. Well,
exactly.
to close us off, if you were speaking to another founder or aspiring entrepreneur who's building a business as you're doing, what would you say are the most important things to keep front of mind?
Yeah, I think uh, especially with my story uh, of it's mostly most of the people that I think there's this book called E-Myth. Um, I think it's by is it Michael Grober or something like that? Yeah, but
Mhm,
it's one of the really amazing books that I think it's worth anyone reading
mhm,
because it speaks of a typical story like me, of like the technician, the person that actually likes to do things and starting a business. And what they end up finding a lot is actually being an entrepreneur it's totally something else.
yeah.
It needs a whole different mindset than just being a technician. So I think
Mm,
first it's the recommendation just to read that book to identify. And I think also the word entrepreneur is one of those words that it's so people take it lightly, the word entrepreneur. A person that is self-employed, they think of themselves as an entrepreneur, but you're not an entrepreneur. And being an entrepreneur, it requires so many different sets of way you think, the way you do things. I think that for me is the first important thing. Just going through that book to just help you think about what it is to be an entrepreneur, not to be a technician and thinking that you're an entrepreneur. And that also it also leads into the second part of like thinking systematically about what you do. So as the EOS, helping
Mm,
you to really think about the system that you really want to put into place. Because
mm,
if you also want to run a business that is not going to grow, also that's also not a good business, because the whole purpose of a business, it needs to constantly be growing, year by year, quarter by quarter, whatever definition that you need to put in. And only systems will allow that growth more than anything. And I think that for me are the two most important pieces in that to really think about the word entrepreneur. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, do things what entrepreneurs actually need to do, not to be a technician, not to be stuck. And I'm still working myself also. I'm still not there. I wouldn't define myself as an entrepreneur. I'm still owning based on my job, basically and stuff. But I'm just now being intentional about wanting to be an entrepreneur more than anything. So I think that is super important. And
mm,
part of that to build systems, think of systems over and over again. How do you systemize the thing that you can do? And I
mm.
think once you can achieve those two things, um, the sky's the limit. The way I will view it, yeah.
And there's so much more to the EOS system that we didn't get to dive in today. But yeah, I recommend you guys, if you're listening to this, get the book, Genome Wickman Traction. And Philip, the name of the book that you mentioned, is it E? Can you say that again? What was it?
E-myth, E-myth,
E-myth. Okay.
E-myth, yeah. I
Right.
think it's more entrepreneurial myths, myths that
Right.
entrepreneurs tell themselves. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Right. Okay. Got
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Philip, it's been so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, really inspiring story and inspired by what you're building. So yeah, keep on at it.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much, Sam, and thank you for the time, man. Enjoy this.